Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and we are here today to discuss the film Locke. And I'm here with Susanna. Susanna, thank you for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you for having me again to just ramble about movies. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for volunteering.
Well, I was surprised again that I was the only one, but okay.
Okay. This is it's a different kind of film. I think I don't think most people, and I don't mean this I mean because I enjoyed it, but I don't think most people would. I don't think most people latch on to films like this. Do you
No,
agree?
I think most people would get bored very easily. I
Hmm.
don't- it's not your typical movie. Again, when I first, I mean, I was surprised that I haven't heard of it before, considering the title. And then I went and watched a trailer, and I was like, "Is this really just a movie about a guy driving for A to B and talking on the phone? Really? Can you actually make a movie like this?" And yes, they proved that we can, and they did it very well. It
Nice.
was very engaging throughout.
I'm surprised that they were able to make it so engaging
Hmm.
with just dialogue. What as an author yourself, what things did you see that they did to keep us engaged?
Well, they fed the information very slowly, just little morsels. They let us guess pretty much all the way through. We have no idea at the beginning. You just see a guy getting in the car, and then we get that something happened, something bad happened. And he has to get somewhere, and then realize, oh, his wife is having a kid. No, it's not his wife. It just this builds up just through his conversations. And the subplot with his work is amazing. If it was just one or the other, we'll be like, all right, there's not a lot here. But the way they mix the two problems and how he handled was pretty good. But yeah, it's little bits of information here and there. They really keep us guessing, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Oh, I don't know what happened. Sorry. Can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, yeah, so good.
Just making sure. Okay. I don't know. My screen just went black, so I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Fine. As I was saying, just little bits. What was your take from it?
I the same way I was surprised that because I didn't really know much about it. I just knew it was Tom Hardy in the car. That's all I knew. But I kept thinking he was going to get somewhere. He was going to get out of the car, or something was
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
I was before I knew it was over, and it's like I guess he doesn't have to get out of the car. So it was but like you said, I think feeding us slow information and seeing the stakes rise and learning more about
Mm-hmm.
him and why he's doing what he's decided to do, all that was really interesting and
Mm-hmm.
kept me engaged the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I
It
think
was one of those movies.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it was one of those movies that I was surprised when we got to the end. I actually had this feeling, oh, it's over already, and then I figured, well, of course, it has to be a very short movie, and no, it's not. It's it's regular length, but it just went by. It was almost at some points you could almost close your eyes and it was like listening to an audiobook or a
Mm.
podcast and just relating the story. Of course, watching the actor Tom Hardy play the character helped, but it kind of felt like that, more like an audio play, but with the added um, visual information because his performance was great. I mean, he's just sat in this tiny car. It's amazing.
And his accent too. I think he maintains it throughout. I didn't notice any point where he let that slip.
Well, I am tone deaf when it comes to accents. I think he was going for a Welsh accent. I can't tell, I hardly can tell American from English, so
Hmm.
no opinion there.
I heard someone say it was Australian, but I didn't really hear too much. It was I thought it was more like a Welsh. I didn't.
Mhm.
It wasn't in English. Like, but I was yeah. But he whatever it was it was consistent. So,
Mhm.
but yeah. Yeah, the just the presentation of it and his performance, like you said, you could listen to this just audio of it and still get the
Mhm.
experience. But his performance, I think that speaks to him as an actor, what he's able to do with just sitting in a car
Mhm.
and just talking.
But it was everything. His mannerisms, his facial expression, of course. When he gets angry, how do you express anger in that confinement? His exasperation, that every little detail to go with the situation. It was, I think, it was very, very good work. Very well acted, well directed. You don't you don't get tired of looking at him. That's like what I'm trying to get at, because it's there's only a few camera angles, and it never gets tiring for me. But I guess many people will think otherwise. They would watch 20 minutes of it and say, "Well, what not?
Yeah.
What's next?" You know.
Where's the explosion? Yeah.
Yeah, where's the explosion? Yeah, but the thing, because there's no special effects, there's no, great opening scenes or this. It it makes it very real. You almost feel like you're in a car with him, just
Hmm.
eavesdropping on the situation. Yeah, you definitely believe that was happening to someone. Yeah.
On the second watch, I did notice that in the beginning when he gets in his car and he drives out and he's going to turn left, and then there's a truck behind him that's honking at him, and then
Mm,
he flips and he goes right. I think that's the point where he decides I'm going to the
mm,
hospital. I'm not going home,
hmm.
which I thought added a little because I didn't really notice that in the first time.
I missed that actually. I had the impression that he had already made the decision when he got into the car, um, because he had already received that call. I don't think we actually get the call letting him know that he's about to be a father. But yeah, it was a very interesting decision. Now it's not just the dialogue, the plot. You, through the movie, all the way through the movie, you go like from "What are you doing?" to "What have you done?" back to "What are you doing?" and "What did you expect?" And yeah, but we can help to feel a bit to feel sympathy for this, and at least I towards the end I thought, well, I think he did the right thing.
Hmm.
Um, how much that would cost, of course. Um, but yeah, it kind of went back and forth. And there was a bit when I started to think, oh, maybe he's crazy because he was talking to his father in the back seat and said, okay, this is going places. Maybe it's not as simple as I thought. It has some supernatural element to it. No, sorry, spoiler. No, but it helped because otherwise it would be just a guy talking to himself in the car, and then he would look crazy. So.
So I was curious what you thought. Do you think Locke is a likable character?
Uh, no, I mean he's flawed. Definitely has issues, and he made a mistake. Actually, I think the his greatest mistake was not having told his wife beforehand.
Hmm.
Not what not that he slept with another woman, but that he didn't waited 7 months
Hmm.
to bring it up. What did he expect exactly? But no, but he is a man that, despite his flaws, in the end is trying to do the right thing. He's trying to be good, or in this case, better than his father. I guess that was the standard that he was aiming at, and so we can't help but give him credit for that. And empathize. I mean, he's not a bad guy.
Mhm.
It's just,
Yeah, I think from the point where we are introduced to him, I guess he's making the most out of the situation he's in because
mm,
he's made a lot of mistakes before the last 7 or 8 months, but from the point where we meet him, I think he's trying to do the right things, but then he hurts a lot of people on the way too, and he breaks up his
mhm,
family, and so yeah, it's tough because you you want he's not sympathetic really because he's made the situation for himself, but it's an interesting it's to follow him in a car, and by the end, after an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes, do you do you find him likable? I mean, I don't know. It's strange to spend so much time with him, just him,
mhm.
and at the end, you still don't really you don't think he's too likable, but you can spend so much time with him.
No, I thought I like him better at the end than at the beginning.
Hmm.
At the beginning, he came across as just cold-hearted. What is this guy doing? Um, and I guess he had to be, and we get that across more when he's talking about his work,
Mhm.
which, by the way, brilliant writing. I mean, who cares? I mean, I had no idea what you're talking about. I don't know thing about concrete. It's about concrete, for crying out loud, and it makes me interested in concrete. So thumbs up for that. In the mix of it all. Um, yeah, he starts like I said. We go, oh, he's just a jerk. That guy is cold. What did he expect? What did he want? When we get to the end, yeah, to me, he was more likable at the end. Um, and think, yeah, but what else could he do?
Mhm.
I think any other option would just make him look worse.
Yeah. Bernie, I hated him, but those moments with his sins when he was crying and talking to them made me feel conflicted about him, about his talking with his sons.
It's sad. Yeah, I mean, it was an impossible, not impossible, I guess it could happen, but yeah, how to put it? Uh, I think it was the best result that could have happened in that situation because there is a point where we were thinking, okay, he destroyed his life, fine. Uh, where does he go from here?
Mhm.
And then when he has that conversation with his son, you can see that glimmer of hope. So okay, he screwed up as an employer, he screwed up as a husband, maybe even screwed up as a man, but he did not screwed up as a father. So he has that going for him, I suppose.
Yeah, something, I guess.
Something. I don't know. Yeah, there are worse characters. So, and I do like morally gray characters, and I like characters that own their mistakes. So, in that
Mhm.
regard, thumbs up.
And I agree with you about concrete. I didn't ever think of concrete like it's concrete, but this made it interesting. Like you thought, wow, this is a big building, and if you make one little mistake, it can all topple and kill
Hmm.
however many people.
The metaphor, the symbolism was all there. Yeah, if you don't have a good foundation, etc., etc. Yeah.
But it that the way of raising the stakes of what was happening, it wasn't like he was trying to save someone's life or he was trying to save the world or rescue someone. It was I have to make sure this building is built the right way so it doesn't topple over eventually, which
Hmm.
is a whole different way to raise the stakes and a subject that most
Hmm.
people know nothing about.
Hmm. Yeah, I like. I really enjoyed that. I mean, he could have had any profession,
Mm.
um, but I think it was a very good pick.
And I did the moments where his wife, when she finds out what's happening, when she tells him about he's leaving you won't leave your footprints, your concrete, your stone footprints on the floor anymore, because he
Hmm.
brought his work home with him and he was
Hmm.
so so wrapped up in it that he would bring it home, and so he was
Hmm.
almost, I don't know if you would say obsessed, but it's almost like he
Hmm.
it consumed him almost, like this his work.
Hmm. No, you could tell it was very important to him. Yeah. Um, and I'm not. I was going to say, oh, almost as important as his family, but maybe in that situation probably was, because I guess he realized he couldn't salvage his family, but he wanted to get that thing right. You know,
Mm.
everything else he may have screwed up, but he wanted to have that thing right. So it it's all relatable, I think, um, because he was no superhero, um, no one of great influence in the world. This is just this average bloke. And then you realize, yeah, but he is important. He is important for these people. He is important for this company. He is important, he might be in a building that he helped. It kind of makes you think about all these things, all um, these nameless people with their troubles. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Not everything has to be fantasy and spaceships and vampires. That's good.
Yeah, I like that they used a profession that most people know nothing about as a way to raise the stakes, but we can all
Mm-hmm.
relate to being in a building, so we know that it's important that they're built right. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all the numbers and the weight and the shadow will be 2 miles long, and all that
Mm-hmm.
was like really neat to get bits and pieces of. And it, um, so you started to care about the building, and you started to care about all these different situations that he was going through, and
Mm-hmm.
so you wonder, do you want his wife to work things out with him, or would you rather her not, or the sons, what's their reaction, and what's going to happen in the morning? Everything was, we'll talk about in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of builds that tension.
Mm-hmm. Because yeah, everyone can write their own epilogue and see how it goes.
What did you think about that, about the way that the movie ends? Because it does end, I don't want to say on a cliffhanger, but you don't know really what's going to happen. Like you know that
Mm-hmm.
he's on his way to the hospital, he's almost there, the baby's born, and hearing the baby, I think he is his decision's confirmed when he hears the baby, so
Mm-hmm.
he feels better about his decision. But
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on the way it ended? Would you wanted to see more of what happened after?
Yeah, like I said, I was surprised. I was like, "What? Yeah, is this it? Where's the rest of the movie? We barely started." But so I wanted more. I wanted to see more. I don't know what else I was expecting. Once you then, after the disappointment, and say, "Well, yeah, anything more, I think it would ruin."
Hmm.
It's better that everyone then imagines how it might go from there. It's fine as well. And it would ruin, because then we would have more people in the scene, and it would be a completely different movie.
Yeah, I think even having daylight would change the feel of the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the movie. Even having the sun, or just
Mm-hmm.
even another character in the flesh um would change the feel of the movie. But yeah, all really interesting. And I think I think they use the phone calls very well, like him receiving and dialing. You had some time to just sit in the car with him at points where he would talk to
Mm-hmm.
the back seat. So that too, I thought was very well done. It gave us some time to kind of process what was happening before more calls came in. And of course, when you have one call, another call is waiting, so it's always more
Mm-hmm.
than one. But
It was very tense. There was moments. I mean, for me, I talking on the phone is always stressful, but it's even worse when there's another call waiting. It's like, oh, everything seriously. And the multitasking, his multitasking was amazing. And then when he didn't have had those files, oh no, what, what's going to happen now? It was a full story arc,
mm,
just in a short drive. Brilliant.
yeah. Brandy, the addition of the baby having complications was nerve wracking. That after everything, the baby might not make it. That's another thing that they added in.
Oh yeah, that's. I never quite believed that. I wasn't worried.
You weren't.
I wasn't worried about that.
And the call waiting added some tension for sure. Yeah, having on one because all the calls he's getting are important. It's just about
Mm-hmm.
which one does he take, which
Mm-hmm.
one takes priority. But yeah, it's a tough decision. Even in everyday life, it's a decision. Much less this kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think towards the end he tells um his ex boss, when I started the night, I had a wife and a family and a job, and now I have none of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
hell of a night.
Need just a couple of hours. Yeah, and maybe probably all he had to do was just tell the wife, you know, right after it happened. Maybe then she would forgive him. I don't know. With a kid, there'll be a lot to ask, but maybe of course things will be differently. There is one thing though. As I was saying that deep down he might be a good guy, but now that I think about it, so he keep it hidden from his wife for about 7 months. I mean that shows. I mean, yeah, um, that shows either she's completely clueless, or you'd have to be a very good actor or just very ruthless. Makes me wonder if it was a decision just in the moment, or if beforehand he had decided not to acknowledge the child and just kind of forget about it, and then just something snapped during that night.
Hmm.
Is Now that I think about it, I wish I would watch it again and pay attention to those details. It's the sort of thing you're not looking for the first time you watch them. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't notice him changing his mind about which direction he's going to turn. I didn't notice that until the second time. So yeah, there's little things,
Mm-hmm.
little details, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you do want. I think he just maybe wanted it to go away. I don't know, like he thought he just or
Which
maybe it's something he
he could
dreaded,
have. Yeah, it was another option.
or just like a conversation he was dreading, or he wished that it maybe it just would not be real suddenly, like it never happened, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I did feel for was it Beth Ann, uh his mistress, I guess. I did feel for her because she seemed very fragile.
Mm-hmm. Very, yeah, very weak, very fragile, um, which kind of makes it wonder how the hell did it happen, but never mind that. Um, yeah, and I think that was part of the issue. Had she been, I don't know, younger, stronger, a different personality, maybe you wouldn't feel guilty, you wouldn't give it a second thought. But he really felt responsible. Maybe he didn't trust her to be the best mother, and you know, yeah. I guess any other woman, this wouldn't work either. I suppose. Um, Very well written. I mean, the characters they work really well.
Mhm. Yeah. And especially when he instructs the person under him when he's coaching him through how to
Hmm.
inspect the trucks and everything, and when he finds the work crew who is going to check the rebar for a certain spot in the and he tells
Hmm.
him tell him that he's the best guy in England or something like that, and this guy who's just lost his job, his family, going to his
Hmm.
to this child he's he's made this with this other woman, and this guy on the phone's telling him you're the best guy in England, like be sure and tell him. Just
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
It's all about perspective. To his friends. he was the best guy because, and he was, that was another thing, the way that he encouraged the other guy, because he was a mess. He was drunk and couldn't drive. It was just one thing after the other. Like, if it was me, I think I would have lost my patience. I wouldn't, I would, say a few choice words. But he was very calm throughout, very patient with him. He knew he'd been drinking. He was always looking for a solution. Now you have to run. Yes, no, you're going to have to run. It's very calm throughout. So I guess, yeah. And that fits with the sort of personality that would keep the secret, because there was that part of him that was almost sociopathic, the way that he could distance himself, compartmentalize his emotions from what he had to do. And I guess, yes, from his friend point of view, from someone on the other side of the receiving end of that control, of that security, yes, of course, he's a great guy. He's a guy you can rely, you can count on until you know better.
Even the was it like I forget the title, his like the counts, the ambassador, or the person he has to get permission to close the road from, even that person recognizes him. Oh, I remember you run a tight crew. Let me, I'll take care of it, because he has a reputation. So that reputation helped him in his work in getting this problem solved. But
well, there is this, it's not a rule in writing, but it's kind of this guideline when you're making a character that, he's a jerk, that his personality is just impossible, that no one is going to like him. But you still need some people to like him. So you have to make him very competent. You have to, increase his competence, his skills, intelligence, however. And I think that's what they did here. Because, yeah, he's a really flawed man, but he's a good employee, he's a good friend, he's competent. Even as a father, once he put his mind to it, once he made the decision, that was a priority, and it didn't stop until that objective was achieved. And everything else became secondary.
Yeah, just such a I don't know, just a very unique movie. If so, you'd have told me that this is an hour and a half of a guy in his car, I'd be like, I don't know. That's sounds kind of boring, but it works.
Yeah, I do like those sorts of movies once in a while, when it's just one person. Or I saw one recently, The Boat. Not similar character at all, but it's just a guy in a boat, and it's amazing how engaged you are throughout. Yeah, so it can be done.
Yeah, with the right mix, I
Go
think.
watch it.
Yeah, I'll check that one out. I think with the
And
right
it's Tom
mix, I
Hardy.
think,
Come on.
yeah, I think he's one of the few who can pull this off, I think.
Yeah, it wouldn't work with with just any actor, because he really comes. He has this way. I'm sorry, apologies.
It's okay.
What's
It's
happening?
all right. Well, she wants to go for a walk.
No, he has this way of coming across as very, just an ordinary bloke. Very down to earth. So you could see it as this construction work engineer. I don't know exactly what exactly did he do. But anyway, and just a regular guy having a really tough night.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
You wouldn't believe if it was, Brad Pitt or um, terrible with names.
Yeah, and I did wonder. I'm not familiar with that highway or that freeway, but I wonder if they timed because they do show shots of the car driving, and I wondered if they matched up the distance and with the road signs and the other landmarks.
Well, I don't, I don't know. My husband swears that they cheated,
Oh, okay.
because apparently he drove that. I drove that road as well, several times, but for the life of me, all roads looked the same. And no, I didn't went and check exactly how long it takes to go through one end to the other at night with no traffic. I don't know. It seems like the sort of thing that you would pay attention to and make sure you got that right. So I don't know. Maybe they cheated just a little bit to get the best shots. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I did wonder about that, and I did notice that on the phone calls that they did have the duration usually pretty close to the
Mm-hmm,
duration of the call.
mm-hmm,
Little
mm-hmm,
details like that, I think, are.
mm-hmm. I got the impression that everything was properly timed,
Mm,
because they could have picked an hospital pretty much everywhere. You could pick any A to B point. If they picked those two, I reckon it is because that was the length of the movie. That's the length they wanted to do. So that's what I would do. I don't know.
yeah, really. I don't know. I was engaged the whole time.
Mm-hmm. It is. I can't recommend it enough. Ever since I watched it, if you want to look for just chill, well, chill maybe not chill, but it is in a way. Even though you are tense, but at the same time you are just focused on that on what's the word, on that storyline. There's no cuts to distant lands or to this. It's so elegant, um, storytelling wise, and especially if you enjoy podcasts or just audio novellas. Yeah, give it a go. You don't even have to look for it. Just just listen to it.
Just listen. I
Yeah.
did like the last shot when it kind of zooms out and it shows the free the highway and all the different cars driving by, and you never know what's happening in any of these vehicles, like what everyone's dealing with. Someone might be losing their
Mm,
family and on the way to their you know their child's birth that isn't their wife's. It's like just wild.
it's true. No,
Yeah.
it makes you think, not just what would I do in this situation, but yeah, we sometimes get so wrapped up in our little problems, we kind of forget that the people we cross every day, they are going through things that we can't even imagine, or
Mhm.
they could be exactly the same thing, or just stuff we can't imagine. So
Yeah.
always try to give everyone a little bit of credit. Just in case.
It's not always easy, but yeah.
I know, but I always try. I fail sometimes, but try.
Yeah, me too. It's not easy, but I have to try to remember. But cool. Anything else you can think of for Locke?
No, that's the thing when you discussing. I mean, I guess we could go in depth about his character and psyche and his relationship with his father and why he is the way he is, etc., etc. Um, but that would go beyond spoilers. I think we just tell the whole story, and then people will be like, "Wow, why would I watch it?" Um, it's a, like we said at the beginning, it's a very well thought of and very well done movie. I reckon. I mean, they probably did it in like tiny budget, just to prove that you don't need all the special effects and
Mm,
just explosions and deaths and drama. Well, that's all fine, but sometimes once in a while, just good performance, very good script, and a good story.
mm,
It's not going to win any Oscars. It's probably not going to feature, in the top 10 favorite movies of many people, but it is a movie that you will remember 5, 10 years from now.
yeah.
So
I did like that
success.
they left some of that vague with his dad, and we get a little bit, but we don't get but we have enough to know, but not too much to where it's over explaining it. I think leaving some of that just so we can fill in the blanks that was makes it more interesting.
Mm-hmm. But because by then you were falling into the cliche,
Mm,
you know once he started talking to his father, we get the idea of what happened, and immediately, and you're like, oh yeah, now I understand why you are doing this. It And you don't need to explain the details of his childhood. And again, less is more. Just little bits of information we can understand.
Mhm. Yeah, great movie. Yeah, it's one of my. It's like you said. I watched it. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I still remembered it. I still thought about it, and then rewatching it, it was even
Mm-hmm.
better the second time.
Now I'm going to have to rewatch it.
Yeah,
And then be like, oh, I should have mentioned it. So, damn
yeah, it happens every time. Yeah,
it. I know every time the camera is off, and then I'm like, forgot this. I should have said that.
yeah.
Yeah, it
There's
still
always
happens.
something. Yeah, there's always something. But for anyone who wants to get in touch with you or check out your work, where can they find you?
My work is available pretty much everywhere: Amazon, Kobo, Apple. It's a series called Timelessness. The first book is Weird Gods. And if you like weird fantasy or slipstream, give it a try. It's like the opposite of Locke. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and you can contact me through email, chronodendrum@gmail.com, and I'm on Twitter, Vero, and Facebook most of the time.
Nice.
When I am on social media at all, which is not much these days.
Yeah, it's nice to have a break for sure. Yeah.
Things are really, really depressing out there
Yeah,
lately.
it's like 5 to 10 seconds. I'm like, this is not good. Yeah,
So email is safest.
safest. Well, thank you, Susanna. Thank you for coming by and talking with Locke about me. With Locke
No.
about talking to me about Locke.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again. It's always fun to ramble about these things.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see everyone very soon. Tomorrow, in fact. So we'll see everyone then.
Bye.